everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be going over a hybrid set in a cat eye style and how I do my cat eyes. But before I get into it, everything I'm sharing with you guys is completely subjective to what I like to do, and I continuously always encourage you guys to go through other sources. Usually in my videos I'm already, kind of set up, but today I wanted to switch it up a bit and show you how I tape down my bottom lashes. And basically I just use a gel pad and then go over with some Next Care tape. I like to actually use my other hand to pull the top lashes up so that I'm not getting any of those top lashes stuck underneath that bottom eye tape. So that's something that I just recently started doing instead of constantly trying to shimmy that tape under there. And especially if people have lashes that kind of touch from top to bottom, using that finger method really helps just get it out of the way. I use 3 pieces and I go diagonal, and then horizontally across the middle. And then I go ahead and I adjust the under eye tape because I always like to kind of shimmy it down a little bit. You never know if it can get a little bit irritated with the eyeball when the under eye pad moves up a bit. Here's my taping method. I only do this for people who have flat lashes. So if their lashes are really low and touching the pads, then I go ahead and lift up. If you guys wanted to see and go back, I'm using FORABELI Diamond Clear Lash Adhesive and then the V-Eyes Super Bonder. The Diamond Clear Lash Glue is a new glue that I've been using. I started using it a few months ago because one of the other lash glues that I started using was sold out. And I always love FORABELI, but I'm always kind of experimenting with other glues. I do realize that the clear glues are actually less irritating than the glues that are black. So I knew that FORABELI has had a clear lash glue before that I did a previous video on actually. So I decided to go in and use it. Getting into the mapping of this, as you can see, with 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we're going to skip 12 and go up to 13. So basically how I map out these styles, I like to give the 9mm the most amount of space on the eye to create a really long and gradual growth from that cat eye type of look. It really elongates that feline look. So if I start from 8 and then kind of really really draw out the 9mm throughout the eye, it's like a very short look from the first half of the eye. And then when I go up to 10 and 11, I try to elongate the 10mm across the eye a little bit longer as well. 11 is definitely the shortest, and then we go up to 13, elongating from the arc of the eyebrow or the arc of the eye, and we kind of drag it on. At the very end of the eye, I flick it out within 11mm so that when there's fallout, the eye doesn't look droopy and also gives the eye a nice lifted look. Now, the reason that I skip 12 is because I find that it allows you to get that flick. I also mentioned this in a previous video talking about cat eye style as well, but this is just a method that I've learned to do and learned to come to like a lot. So if you guys want to try it out, skip a size and sometimes you'll really get that flick. I've noticed also before some techniques you can do is do, I guess, like less amount of each length. So what I mean by that, instead of skipping 12, maybe do like a very small amount of 12, 11, and 10, so that there's like this really small gradual buildup, and then suddenly when you get to the 13, it flicks up. So all I'm saying through that technique is that basically the more you lengths that you skip or put into, the more that you'll see that feline flick. Now, I have seen before though people jumping like way too many lengths and it does look a little odd. So I would recommend gradually building up. If anything, you fill in with a few lengths, like the 12 instead of skipping it. Just add like maybe 3 fans in there or 3 fans in classic lashes so that it's not so choppy and the buildup is nice and gradual and the flick looks sharp rather than just like skipping a bunch of lengths. However, if you're gonna skip like 1 length, it's not really that noticeable and still gives you that nice feline look. I really like this look because people who like cat eye really look for that kind of like really nice flick at the end. Now, D-curl and double D-curl I usually use for people who have flatter lashes, especially people who are Asian. We have very straight lashes, so obviously using D and D curl makes that lash pop a little bit more. If you have really curly lashes or someone likes a more of a I guess sharper flick at the end, I would recommend going C and CC curl just so that it doesn't look so curly at the very end. But that's only if people have usually like normal lashes that have a slight curl to it. With straight lashes, I would still recommend D and D curl so that you can at least see that noticeable curl and that it doesn't look too natural. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But again, it's also your client's preference, so not everyone would want a CC or a DD, and I kind of always explain to them how it turns out. So as you can see here, I am going and working from the inner outer. It just allows me to work nicer and allows me to map it out and get a nice symmetrical look between the eyes. I always try to take a pause and step back for a minute and just kind of look at what I'm doing to make sure it's symmetrical. The video cut off a few times, but throughout the lash set I was brushing through the lashes to make sure that both sides are being equal and I can really see that I'm getting that symmetry. And I also use the under eye mirror, as you can see here, to look at that lower lash line. I think that's also important to make sure that the density is the same all the way through, because if one side is thicker, then I'll remove a few fans. I really try to get that symmetry on point. Obviously, it's not going to always be 100%. It's really difficult, especially when your clients are falling asleep and their head is moving from side to side. So always try to straighten your client's head out if that tends to happen and brush them through, especially with the cat eye. You don't want one eye looking different than the other. It really gives a lopsided look, and I think that it takes away from that nice lifted feline look that the client is asking for when they look for a cat eye set. So it's really important to get that symmetry down packed. As you can see, when I go and apply the lashes, they are very much being applied from the top, unless sometimes I do find that applying from the bottom can be easier depending on how the lash is positioned, because obviously you have to be I guess aware of the neighboring lashes. You got to be aware of the neighboring lashes, and you kind of want to apply to what's easier for you, whether that's from the top, the side, or the bottom. So I'm just kind of throwing in tips there from what I do when I do any kind of lash style. But again, focusing on the cat eye, we went over it. Start from a really small length. I think that the more lengths that you use, the better. You get a more gradual look and a more of a flick up, which obviously accentuates that nice cat eye look. It does make it a little bit difficult because you could start to, I guess, be a little bit confused and get lost in the amount of lengths and how much you're supposed to be using of each length. So if that's an issue for you, just make sure to map it out on the under eye pads. It's a lot easier to follow, especially if you're a beginner. So if you guys want to see the end results, stay tuned and you can see the beautiful cat eye hybrid set that I created with these looks and this length. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I post every Sunday. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I post every Sunday at 6:15. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you again.
Front row my show for show you go, laugh at my banter. Bite toe my toe for show, you won't give me an answer. Drink me a beer, cold beer, change my euros to zloty. Wake up your bed, my hand